For our read aloud right now, we're going to shift away from some of the picture books that we have been using to get started, and we're going to move into this book. It's a chapter book. It's called The Tiger Rising, and it is by the author Kate DiCamillo. And we're going to be using what we are reading about, what we're learning about in this book, in our reading mini lessons throughout the next coming weeks of this first unit. So make sure that you are listening carefully as we read. The Tiger Rising. Chapter 1. That morning, after he discovered the tiger, Rob went and stood under the Kentucky Star Motel sign and waited for the school bus just like it was any other day. The Kentucky Star sign was composed of yellow neon star that rose and fell over a piece of blue neon in the shape of the state of Kentucky. Rob liked the sign. He harbored a dim but abiding notion that it would bring him good luck. Finding the tiger had been luck. He knew that. He'd been out in the woods behind the Kentucky Star Motel, way out in the woods, not really looking for anything, just wandering, hoping that maybe he would get lost or get eaten by a bear and not have to go to school ever again. That's when he saw the old Beauchamp gas station building, all boarded up and tumbling down. Next to it, there was a cage, and inside that cage, unbelievably, there was a tiger. A real life, very large tiger pacing back and forth. He was orange and gold and so bright it was like staring at the sun itself, angry and trapped in a cage. It was early morning and it looked as if it might rain. It had been raining every day for almost 2 weeks. The sky was gray and the air was thick and still. Fog was hugging the ground. To Rob, it seemed as if the tiger was some magic trick, rising out of the mist. He was so astounded at his discovery, so amazed, that he stood and stared. But only for a minute. He was too afraid to look at the tiger for too long, afraid that the tiger might disappear. He stared and then he turned and ran back into the woods towards the Kentucky Star. And that whole way home, while his brain doubted what he had seen, his heart beat out the truth to him. Tiger, tiger, tiger. That's what Rob thought about as he stood beneath the Kentucky Star sign and waited for the bus. The tiger. He didn't think about the rash on his legs, the itchy red blisters that snaked their way into his shoes. His father said that it would be less likely to itch if he didn't think about it. And he did not think about his mother. He hadn't thought about her since the morning of the funeral, the morning he couldn't stop crying, the great heaving sobs that made his chest and his stomach hurt. His father, watching him, standing beside him, had started to cry too. They were both dressed up in suits that day. His father's suit was too small, and when he slapped Rob to make him stop crying, he ripped a hole underneath the arm of his jacket. "There ain't no point in crying," his father said afterwards. "Crying ain't going to bring her back." It had been 6 months since that day. 6 months since he and his father moved from Jacksonville to Lister, and Rob had not cried since, not once. The final thing he did not think about that morning was getting on the bus. He specifically did not think about Norton and Billy Threemonger waiting for him like chained and starved guard dogs eager to attack. Rob had a way of not thinking about things. He imagined himself as a suitcase that was not too full, like the one that he'd packed when they left Jacksonville after the funeral. He made his feelings go inside the suitcase. He stuffed them in tight and then sat on the suitcase and locked it shut. That was the way he not thought about things. Sometimes it was hard to keep the suitcase shut, but now he had something to put on top of it. The tiger. So as he waited for the bus under the Kentucky Star sign, and the first drops of rain fell from the sullen sky, Rob imagined the tiger on top of his suitcase, blinking his golden eyes, sitting proud and strong, unaffected by all of the not thoughts inside straining to come out.